Let's talk about the future. The future has never been so uncertain as of today, and there have never been so many discussions about it. But the actual question is, who's going to shape this future? Who's going to create this future? So everyone is talking about megatrends like the digital transformation, and especially the increasing need for more sustainable behavior, for a more sustainable society, so for a more sustainable world. What I would like to emphasize is today is that no one is talking about the solutions we need for that. And I would like to talk about the solutions because I truly believe that the key for an innovative and for sustainable future is the digital generation. So I'm talking about young people, I'm talking about you and me, I'm talking about us, right? I'm talking about students, about startups, about young researchers, about young professionals. So I'm talking about a generation that grew up in a completely digital world, in a completely different environment. And this generation brings completely new skills to the table, right? So they bring a completely different access to digital tools, digital technologies, and thus even better skills in using and applying those technologies. At the same time, this digital generation, those digital natives, also bring a completely new mindset. So those people bring the willingness to embrace the change that is needed in today's world. And thus, this generation has the biggest potential to change and to create the world of our future. And at the same time, I believe that this huge potential that is there, that is inside this generation, cannot be fully unlocked, and that this generation cannot fully enable and unfold their own innovation potential. And I think there are various reasons for that, but one of the main reasons is, from my own experience, that those young people are not confident enough that they can embrace this change and they can, make great things happen and create a real-world solution and a real-world impact. And this is exactly what I've been working on within the last 4.5 years, since I founded my own company, Equipa. And we've been accompanying more than hundreds and thousands of young people, of digital natives, in creating solutions out of basic ideas. And we have guided and conducted more than 50 innovation projects internationally, where we helped young people to create real-world innovations. And within those 4.5 years journey of my own, I recognized some patterns, some mechanisms, and some frameworks, and that might be quite helpful to take an initial idea and transfer it and overcome the gap in order to create a real-world solution and thus a real-world impact. And from that journey that I went through within the last years, and also from accompanying so many young people, I would like to share some learnings about what you could apply when you're willing to create this real-world impact. So let's start talking about those learnings. Let's start at the very beginning. And I know that every beginning is quite hard. Maybe most of you can imagine that once in your life you had an idea where you thought, this might be quite helpful in reality. And then at the same time you thought, but it's also a huge effort and I don't know where I should start when working on and with my idea. And my first recommendation here would be that you should try to address a problem. Some renowned experts in the innovation field say that an idea without a problem is no real-world solution, and would completely 100% agree on that. So the first thing you should do when you create or when you have an idea that comes to your mind is you should ask yourself, do I solve a problem with this idea? And the second step should be that you should identify or find out whether it's just you and yourself who has this problem, or if other people, maybe your friends, some other people at your university or your environment, are also having this problem and are also being fronted with this problem. And if you realized, okay, this seems to be a problem I can overcome here, this is a really good starting point. So now you have identified a problem, and that's a good foundation for a solution. What's next? Maybe most of you know people like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or currently Elon Musk, one of the most successful entrepreneurs and innovators of our time. What those people did, and maybe not all of you know that, is they didn't build their innovations in their companies just on their own. Because no one in this world brings all the skills to the table that you need in order to create a real-world innovation. So what they did at a really early stage of their innovation journey is they tried to find like-minded people. And this is my second recommendation that I have for you. Don't just be a lone wolf. Start to find like-minded people who are willing to join you on your journey. And try to match a team around you that brings additional skills that you maybe don't have, but that can add another value to your team and to your solution. And by the way, it's also even more fun if you can jointly work on the solution than just on your own. So try to find like-minded people. And what sounds so easy isn't that easy in reality, because where do I find them now? So here would my advice be that you should try to spread the word. And I mean, we are the digital generation, right? We are using digital channels on a daily basis. So you can start by spreading the word online. I mean, all of us are using Instagram, and especially LinkedIn as a great tool, a great channel in the innovation field and environment to spread the word and to find like-minded people. But not only in the online world. I mean, most of the universities here in Germany are also offering some organizations or some communities for innovation-interested people. There you can also go and start to try networking and find other people who are also interested in innovation and who might be willing to join your journey. And that's what we also did when starting our company. I mean, we went to so many networking events. We posted our initial idea in hundreds and thousands of, Facebook groups in order to try and to find other people who are willing to support us on our journey. And this was quite a valuable experience. And what a lot of young people who might have created an idea for a startup, for example, are afraid of, and what I've been confronted with as well, is that they say, I don't want others to steal my idea. So that's why I'm not trying to spread the word. And I thought the same when I started. And I went to networking events and I was asked, okay, what's your startup idea? And I said, I don't want to talk about that. But that's the biggest mistake you can make, guys, because you need to spread the word, and it brings two huge benefits. First one is you receive valuable feedback. If you start talking to others and exchanging ideas, that always enriches your own idea. And the second thing, I already mentioned that, is that you will find others who might be as happy about your idea as you are and are willing to join you on your innovation journey. So try to spread the word as soon as possible. So if you've now found like-minded people, and if you have addressed and identified a real-world problem, what's next? Now you have to make your idea more tangible, more feasible in order to create a real-world solution. And how do you do that? Honestly, you do not necessarily have to reinvent the wheel here. I mean, there are some proven methodologies out there which might be helpful to work on your idea. And I brought two with me today to share with you. Maybe some of you already know them. I will share some words about those two methodologies. The first one is a methodology that I learned in my only entrepreneurship class in my bachelor's degree that I had. And to be honest with you, this was actually the only thing that was valuable for founding my startup in this class. And this is called Business Model Canvas. So Business Model Canvas consists of 9 topics, so one could say 9 different perspectives that you could use to look on your idea and to work on in a more detailed way. So for example, you need to think about the channels, about the stakeholders you're addressing, about other partners you might need, about revenue streams you can generate, and other really valuable topics you need to think of in order to make your solution more tangible. Business Model Canvas, especially at the very beginning of your idea creation process, is really, really helpful. And the second one, some might say now this isn't just a framework or a methodology, but more of a mindset, is called design thinking. And maybe you have already heard about design thinking. It's kind of a 5 to 6 step process that helps you to better understand your customer, your user, your client, the stakeholder you're addressing. And I don't want to make it too complicated, but to make it more tangible for you to understand how it's working, it's actually pretty simple. So let's imagine you're having an idea that you want to create vegan food. You wouldn't just start by producing that vegan food, right? I mean, first of all, you need to understand what's in there and what are the problems you need to address. And that's exactly the first step you would go when applying design thinking here. So you would start by creating a persona. So a people or a potential user that has problems you want him to help to overcome. You would think of pain points the person has, and you want to help him to solve. For example, someone who wants to eat vegan food maybe thinks that vegan food is too expensive or doesn't have a good access to vegan food in his nearby supermarket. So this is the first step. In the second step, you try to observe and even better understand the pain points. So you would, for example, talk to those users and customers and people you would later on would like to have as a customer, and you would try to validate whether your assumptions that you made are valid. And then, based upon that, upon your better understanding of the customer, you would start elaborating on your idea, prototyping your idea, and then test it together with your potential customer, with your potential user. So design thinking is a really valuable process, mindset, framework, you name it, when you want to better understand who you're creating a solution for. And I have one last recommendation, because now you might think, okay, sounds pretty good and I might have an idea, but it's quite risky, isn't it? I mean, I need to invest so much time into it. I need to put so much effort into it. And what are the opportunity costs? I mean, what could I do within that time? I could study even more, I could work even more, I could start a new job, I don't know, I could earn more money. That's definitely the fact when you start working in a startup. You won't earn that much money at the very beginning. But here's the thing. If you start working on your own idea that you're 100% convinced of and where you have an intrinsic motivation with, where you solve a problem that you have on yourself, as I had it when I started working on my startup Equipa, you just can't lose. I mean, you're gaining so much experience out there. You're meeting so many valuable people. You're exchanging ideas, you're discussing ideas, as we are doing this today, that you cannot lose time and you cannot lose money, because those experiences that you're having there in an innovation journey are experiences that no one can ever take away from you. So summarized, I would say we are the digital generation, and we are the ones who are responsible for creating our future. So dare the step, try to overcome the leap that I just mentioned, and try to jointly create the future and make our world a better place. Thank you.